Have you ever needed something that doesn't quite exist? A bracket that's a specific size, a mount for a unique spot, a solution tailored perfectly to your needs. For me, that's a daily reality, and instead of compromising or searching for something that's good enough, I make my own solution. It's a simple but powerful idea. If something in your daily life is an annoyance, however small, you can probably design a way to fix it. And that brings me to today's project. We all have that one spot, that corner of chaos. For me, it's this shelf, a dumping ground for the essential but unruly collection of battery charges that powers my work and hobbies. I looked for a commercial solution, but the options were uninspired. Generic boxes that didn't fit my specific gear, or pegboard hooks that felt quite clumsy. I found these chargers that offer multiple sockets for different batteries, but this is not what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to replace my chargers, but just to find a way to organize that a bit better. So, I'm stuck with the same routine, digging through a nest of cable, finding a spot for the chargers and just hoping it stays put. It's not just messy, it's a small daily frustration, and that's where the story really begins. This video isn't just about chargers, it's about looking at one of those daily frustrations and deciding not to live with it. Every custom solution starts with precise data. You could use a simple tape measure, but for precise fit, a digital caliper is the right tool for the job. We need accuracy down to the millimeter. I'm measuring the key dimensions of each three of the charger. They are all different sizes, which is why an off-the-shelf solution would never be perfect. Now, I could sketch it out by hand. My hand drawing are, let's say, conceptual. So what I usually do, I just imagine the design in my head, then refine it on the computer. I need a clear plan, a top view to position the charger, and a side view to figure out how they will all connect. For the top view, I'll place 3 chargers in order from smallest to the largest. I also want the USB connection to be secured on that plate. For the side view, I'm making it super simple, just a clamp that fits snugly on the shelf. That's it. With the measurement down, I move into the digital space. Here in Fusion 360, the first step is to model the object I'm designing around. These digital blocks are perfect stand-in for real-world chargers. I'm starting by designing the first smaller charger, the second one for the Sony, and the third one for my bigger NFP batteries. Everything is down to the millimeter. As a personal preference, I will also etch the name of the charger and the item onto the holder, so I don't have to search for the right one during the design. My process is to design everything to its exact size first, then when I build the part that need to fit together, I add tolerance. A tiny bit of extra space so things slide together smoothly instead of jamming. Now we have to think about constraints. First, strength. The parts need to be rigid enough to hold everything without flexing too much. That dictates the thickness of the material and the material itself. I'm choosing PETG for its durability and slight flex. The shelf has this 6mm thick bar. I'm designing a clamp that will grip this bar precisely. The goal is a snug friction fit, no screw or zip ties, so I can easily move it if I need to. Here is a key design choice to save a massive amount of printing time and plastic. I'm designing this in 2 parts. Instead of printing tall walls that would need a lot of support material, which would take about 8 hours to print, I'm making a flat base with separate, low-profile surrounds that plugs in with pegs. It's like designing Legos. And now, the print takes about 5 hours and uses much less plastic. We translate the digital into the physical. But 3D printing isn't just about pressing a button, it's a process and sometimes it fails. The first base plate warped. The corner lifted off the print bed due to thermal contraction. The solution? I reprinted it with a larger brim. That's a single layer of plastic around the base that helps it to stick firmly to the bed during printing. Then came the first design flaw. My 10mm surrounding wall was too high, and it blocks some of the ports. You can only catch so much on the computer. A physical test is to me essential. So back to the design, a quick change, a new print, and version 2 at 5mm high is perfect. This is the iteration loop: design, print, test, and refine. With the parts finally printed correctly, it's time for assembly. It needs a bit of cleanup to remove any sharp edges. Because of the brim, some of it stays attached to the parts, so I'm using a deburring tool. It will remove all of it easily. These tools work only one way. You need to pull it towards you, otherwise it will dig into the material and create another burr. Then I will have to remove the small support material that keeps the square holes printed properly. Otherwise, when the plastic gets laid down over the hole, it will fall. This is also one important thing about 3D printing. You have to consider those constraints in the design. And here I made another mistake. I forgot to select one of the holes in the final design, so there is no opening for this peg. But luckily, since it's just plastic, I can fix it manually. I will use a pair of pliers and clip it. The pegs are smaller than the hole by 0.1mm. Not much of a difference, but this ensures that the fit is perfect and it doesn't get loose. I even tried to remove one of my test base plate, and let me tell you, that was really hard. For the charge on the base plate, they are not locked in place. I made a surrounding for each charger because I want things to stay where they are supposed to be. Thanks to the perfect measurement using the caliper, you can see how accurately it fits into place. For my use case, double-sided tape is fine because I don't plan to move them. I will simply apply some tape to lock the charger in place, but I could still remove them if I needed to. It's quick and easy. I made the base plate as an extension of the shelf. To me, that's not really an issue because I won't bump into it, and that will allow me to use the whole shelf as if there was nothing on it. And now, the moment of truth. It's clamping perfectly on the shelf. I can pick the battery up with one hand without holding the charger. It's perfect. Everything has its place. No more mess, no more compromise. A clean and functional space. And that's the point. This isn't just a plastic bracket. It's a solution. It's the physical result of identifying a frustration, thinking through a problem, and using accessible technology to create something that makes my life just a bit better. And once you start thinking this way, you start to see problems to solve everywhere. This bracket we just made, a simple tweak in the design, and it can become a vertical mount. My desk was cluttered, so I designed a custom under-desk mount for my amplifier. Same for my headset, now it has a proper home. It can be anything. Someone gives you flowers and you don't have a vase. A few hours later, you do. If you need a larger one, and that's the real power here. The ability to look at a small everyday annoyance and have the tool to say, I can fix that. If you enjoyed this project, subscribe for more builds like this and let me know in the comment what daily annoyance you'd fix with a custom solution.